The room thundered with gasps as Edward Blackwell's empire cracked in front of the glittering crowd. Olivia Turner shouted, "You lied to all of us. Every word was poison." The chandeliers shook under the weight of betrayal. Reporters stormed forward, cameras flashing like lightning bolts, exposing every sweat drop on Edward's smug grin. Michael Graves slammed his fist against the mahogany table, growling, "He stole our lives, our savings, and laughed while we bled." Edward raised his glass, voice dripping arrogance. "I promised the world, and you handed it over like children craving sweets." Rachel Myers clutched her papers, trembling. The numbers never made sense, but I wanted to believe. I needed to believe. Security guards shifted nervously, eyes darting between chaos and control. The crowd roared, "Fraud! Thief!" as Edward's mask slipped with each insult hurled. Olivia's face burned with rage. "We trusted you. We believed you were our salvation." Edward smirked. "Belief is the easiest currency to steal, and I spent it lavishly." The crash was not of glass or gold, but of illusions collapsing in deafening silence, leaving everyone staring at the man who built his empire on lies. Edward stood taller, his voice slicing through the uproar. "Every empire needs believers, and you gave me your faith like it was gold." Olivia hissed, "We gave you trust, not a license to destroy us." Michael's veins pulsed as he growled, "You preyed on fear and hope, tearing both apart." Rachel whispered shakily, "I saw cracks, but I prayed they weren't real." Reporters shouted questions, flashes burning like fire across Edward's smug face. He spread his arms wide, mocking, "You wanted a god, and I delivered a prophet." The crowd roared back, spitting venomous curses. Olivia shouted louder, "You built castles of smoke, and now we choke in ashes." The room tilted with tension, the illusion collapsing faster than anyone could control. Edward's grin widened, sickly calm in chaos, as if betrayal itself was his masterpiece. Edward's words slithered like knives. "You were desperate, and desperation breeds blind loyalty." Olivia snapped, "No, it breeds courage, and tonight we find it." Michael roared, "We'll see how brave you are when stripped of lies." Rachel trembled, her whisper breaking, "I thought this was hope, not ruin." Edward leaned forward, smirk sharp, "Hope is the sweetest lie, and you swallowed it whole." The room split between rage and despair, voices crashing like a storm against his arrogance. Reporters pressed closer, hungry for his downfall. Olivia's eyes blazed. "The empire you built dies tonight." Edward's voice dropped cold. "Then it dies with you all drowning in shame." The storm outside mirrored the fury within. Edward's laughter echoed like broken glass. Olivia said, "You'll pay for every stolen dream." Michael thundered, "No cage is strong enough for justice." Rachel shook, tears streaking her face. "You promised light, but gave us ruin." Edward's smirk sharpened. "Ruin is only perception. I see victory." The crowd surged, roaring louder, their fury trembling through the marble floor. Security hesitated, torn between order and collapse. Reporters screamed, capturing every shred of tension. Olivia's voice cracked. "The lies end here." Edward raised his chin. "Lies only end when truth wins, and tonight truth belongs to me." The chandelier above flickered violently, light dancing on broken glass across the floor. Edward whispered, "Faith built this empire, and faith will bury it." Olivia shouted, "No, justice will." Michael clenched his fists tighter. "We will not drown in your lies." Rachel's whisper cut through, "We are all broken because of you." Edward's grin widened, savoring the chaos. "Broken pieces still glitter, and I sell glitter well." The crowd roared, shouts twisting into rage and sorrow. Guards moved in, tension boiling over. Reporters fought for closer shots, flashes exploding like fire. Olivia's eyes blazed. "This ends tonight, Edward." Edward whispered back, "Nothing ends. Everything only changes form." The night quieted after the chaos, but Olivia sat alone in her apartment, staring at bills stacked high like monuments of despair. She whispered, I believed because I was drowning, and he looked like a lifeline. Michael visited, leaning on the doorway, his voice firm. You gave him too much credit, Olivia. Men like him know how to smell weakness. She snapped back. And what about you? You didn't stop me. You only warned from the shadows. Rachel's tearful call buzzed on Olivia's phone, her trembling voice echoing. I can't face tomorrow. I lost everything. Olivia clenched her fists, whispering to herself. He found the cracks in all of us, and filled them with poison. Michael muttered. The poison was greed and hope, mixed into a potion we all swallowed. Olivia's face softened, sorrow carving deeper lines. I wanted more than survival. I wanted to finally feel safe. Michael answered coldly. That's what made you his perfect prey. Edward sat in his penthouse office, overlooking the city, glass walls glowing with skyline lights. He whispered to himself, fear drives them, hope blinds them, and trust is my weapon. His assistant Mark entered, nervous. The investors are restless, Edward. They're asking for proof. Edward smirked. Proof is illusion. Give the numbers that sing, and they'll dance forever. Mark hesitated. But the numbers don't exist. Edward leaned closer, voice sharp. Then invent them. No one questions a man wearing confidence like armor. He poured himself whiskey, staring into golden liquid, muttering, they see salvation in me because they hate their own reflection. Mark's face fell pale. One day, someone will see through you. Edward chuckled. And that day will be too late. Olivia met Rachel in a quiet cafe the next morning. Rain-soaked streets outside reflected dull neon. Rachel whispered, I thought he saw me, really saw me. Olivia sighed. He saw your hunger, Rachel, not your heart. Rachel's hands trembled around her coffee cup. I just wanted security, a chance to breathe. Olivia's eyes softened. We all did, and that's why we're here. The waiter glanced nervously, sensing their heavy words. Rachel added, he told me I was special, that I was chosen. Olivia shook her head. He told everyone that same lie, and we all wanted it to be true. Silence settled, broken only by the clatter of cups. Rachel whispered, if lies feel like love, then what does truth feel like? Olivia's voice cracked. Truth feels like pain, and we need to face it. Michael sat with journalist Anna Clark, determined eyes burning under cafe lights. Anna asked, you knew he was lying from the start, didn't you? Michael nodded. I saw patterns, stories that never matched the math. Anna scribbled notes, her voice firm. Then why didn't you scream louder? Michael growled. Because no one listens when the song is sweet. Anna leaned forward. People will listen now. Give me everything you know. Michael's jaw tightened. This isn't about proof. It's about breaking a spell. Anna whispered. Every spell cracks when light shines on it. Michael muttered. Then let's burn him with truth. Edward stood before a crowd at a private investor dinner. Velvet curtains behind him, candlelight glimmering. He spread his arms. Booming dreams demand faith, and tonight I ask for yours. The audience clapped, enchanted. Olivia sat in the back, her heart pounding, whispering, this is the lie that broke us. Rachel beside her muttered, and they're still falling for it. Michael leaned forward, teeth gritted. We need to end this before more souls burn. Edward smiled wide. I promise fortune, I promise tomorrow, and I promise to lead you through the storm. The crowd erupted with applause. Olivia whispered, every cheer is another nail in our coffin. Edward bowed slightly, voice slick as oil. Belief is my currency, and tonight you've made me rich. Edward stood in a glittering hotel ballroom, spinning golden promises as investors hung on every word. We are on the brink of history, he declared, his voice wrapping around them like silk. Olivia whispered to Michael from the back, every smile hides a dagger. Michael muttered, and every cheer digs the grave deeper. Rachel sat trembling, unable to tear her eyes away from Edward's commanding presence. Edward spread his arms wide. Your trust is my compass, your faith my fuel. The crowd erupted, glasses raised in adoration. Michael clenched his fists, growling. They don't see the noose tightening. Olivia leaned forward, her eyes sharp. Then we need to cut the rope before it snaps. Edward's grin widened, smug and invincible, as if the storm of truth could never touch him. Later that night, Olivia and Michael walked down rain-slicked streets, neon lights reflecting off puddles. Olivia said, "He's intoxicating them, feeding their hunger with illusions." Michael replied, "Illusions taste sweeter than truth until they rot." Olivia stopped, her voice breaking. "I almost wanted to believe again, just for a second." Michael grabbed her shoulder. "Firm, that's how he wins, Olivia. That's how he buries people alive in lies." A car splashed water near them, headlights cutting the dark. Olivia whispered, "Then we need to shine brighter than his lies." Michael's eyes narrowed. "Truth doesn't shine, it burns. And burning him down will cost us too." Edward held a private dinner in a marble-clad restaurant, laughter echoing over clinking glasses. He leaned close to an elderly investor, male, 62, smiling warmly. "Your trust will multiply into empires." The man beamed, eyes glowing with greed. Across the room, Rachel watched from the corner, her lips trembling, whispering, "How does he make lies sound like salvation?" A hidden accomplice, Sarah Collins, female, 34, elegant black gown, leaned in with polished charm, saying, "Edward's brilliance is unmatched. You are in the safest hands." Olivia muttered under her breath, "And the deadliest." Edward raised his glass to tomorrow's fortune, born from today's belief. Cheers roared, the room drunk on illusion. Michael sat in his dim office, papers scattered across the desk, headlines screaming Edward's victories. He muttered, "Numbers don't lie, but men do." Anna Clark tapped her pen, replying, "So show me where the lies are buried." Michael slammed a folder open, graphs jagged and false. "Here, this empire isn't gold, it's dust painted shiny." Anna leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "If you're right, he collapses. If you're wrong, you ruin yourself." Michael clenched his jaw. "Better to burn trying than rot silent." Olivia entered, her voice low. "Then we light the match together." The three of them stared at the damning papers, the silence heavy with coming war. At a glittering rooftop party, Edward charmed a circle of investors, city skyline blazing behind him. "Fortune favors the bold," he declared, laughter smooth as honey. Sarah Collins smiled beside him, whispering encouragement. Rachel stood on the edge of the crowd, heart racing, whispering, "They still can't see." Olivia grabbed her hand, firm, "Then we make them see." Michael approached with Anna, his voice hard. "Every lie has a lifespan, and his is expiring fast." Edward raised his glass high, fireworks bursting in the distance, his grin shining. "Tonight we celebrate the dawn of endless riches." Olivia muttered, "And tomorrow, the ashes." The private gala glittered with chandeliers as Edward raised his glass, but Olivia's eyes froze when Sarah Collins leaned close, whispering to him with a lover's smile. Olivia hissed to Michael, "She's been with him all along." Michael growled, "The one you trusted most, the one standing at your side, was his shield." Rachel gasped, hands trembling, "Sarah promised me safety. She told me Edward was the light." Edward smirked, sensing their shock, and said, "Every magician needs an assistant, and mine was perfect." Sarah turned, voice smooth. "I did what was needed, Olivia. You were too blind to see." Olivia's face burned, betrayal cutting deeper than Edward's lies. Michael muttered, "The hidden knife always cuts the deepest." Edward's grin widened, enjoying the cracks spreading in their hearts. The crowd clapped, blind to the reveal happening in shadows. Olivia stormed toward Sarah, voice sharp, "You walked beside me, you held my hand, and all the while you carved my back with lies." Sarah's calm expression didn't falter. "Edward offered me more than you ever could. Power, freedom, wealth." Rachel's voice cracked, "You were supposed to protect us, not sell us." Michael stepped forward, eyes cold. "Every traitor thinks they're untouchable until the truth buries them." Edward's laughter echoed like thunder. "Do you see now? Even your closest ally belonged to me." Olivia's voice trembled with rage. "You will both burn together." Sarah smirked. "Or maybe you'll burn first." The room spun, betrayal weighing heavier than greed, heavier than lies. In the corner, Anna Clark snapped photos whispering, "This is the story, the hidden accomplice revealed." Michael muttered, "But will anyone believe it when he still controls the stage?" Edward spread his arms wide, declaring, "Trust is fragile, and I own every shard." Olivia shouted, "No, you own chains, and you wear them proudly." Sarah stepped closer to Edward, her voice silk. "They're too blind to see brilliance. Let them choke on their envy." Rachel's tears streaked down, whispering, "I thought you were my sister, Sarah." Sarah's eyes glinted cold. "Sisters are bound by blood, but I am bound by ambition." The room grew heavier, the illusion now sharpened into cruel reality. Michael slammed papers on the table, his voice fierce. "The truth is here. Numbers don't lie." Edward laughed. "Numbers bend, and men follow where I lead." Anna held up her recorder. "This is enough to expose you, Edward." Sarah smirked. "Expose him, and you expose yourselves, every one of you who believed." Olivia's eyes blazed. "We'd rather be broken by truth than shackled by lies." Rachel sobbed. "Then break us now, because I can't carry this anymore." Edward leaned in, whispering darkly, "Collapse tastes sweeter when you hand it to me willingly." Michael's jaw tightened. "Your collapse begins tonight." The storm outside cracked thunder as Edward raised his glass once more. "Betrayal is the sharpest tool, and tonight it has carved victory for me." Olivia's voice rose above the storm. "No victory survives truth." Sarah smirked. "Truth bends just like numbers." Michael growled. "But numbers crumble when weighed down by lies." Rachel screamed, "You broke us, all of us." Edward's grin widened. "And yet you still can't look away." Anna whispered into her recorder, "The cracks are spreading, the empire trembles." The crowd shifted uneasily, suspicion finally flickering. Olivia's eyes narrowed. "This is the beginning of your end." Edward's smirk tightened, the first hint of doubt breaking through his armor. The storm outside ripped thunder as Edward stood on stage, his smile stretched thin. Olivia's voice tore through the crowd, "Your empire is rotting, and tonight everyone smells the decay." Michael slammed papers onto the stage. "Here are the numbers. Your golden empire is ash." Edward snarled, "Numbers bend when I command them." Rachel cried, "You commanded my trust, my heart, and you shattered both." Sarah hissed, "He built something greater than any of you ever dreamed." Anna raised her recorder, voice steady, "And I'll burn it into headlines by morning." Edward's composure cracked, his eyes flashing with fury as whispers spread across the crowd. Olivia shouted, "The truth doesn't need your permission to exist." Thunder drowned his laughter, but not his fear. The audience erupted, shouts clashing like weapons. One man roared, "You stole my family's future." A woman screamed, "You promised me safety." Edward lifted his glass high, defiant, "I promised you dreams, and you begged me to sell them." Olivia's voice cut sharp, "You preyed on fear and turned it into profit." Michael thundered, "And tonight profit turns into prison." Sarah snapped, "You're all fools. He is brilliance incarnate." Rachel sobbed, "He's ruin incarnate." Anna's camera flashed, capturing Edward's face as panic crept beneath the mask. The storm rattled windows, and the chandeliers shook violently. Edward's grin faltered, just as whispers of betrayal filled the hall. Edward stepped forward, veins bulging. "You call me a thief, but I gave you the illusion you craved." Olivia screamed, "Illusion is not salvation, it's poison." Michael hurled the papers at Edward's feet. "Your empire is dust dressed in gold." Rachel's voice shook, "You made me believe love was real, and it was all another trick." Sarah growled, "Love, power, it's all transaction." Anna whispered into her recorder, "His empire dies in his own words." The audience roared, some charging forward, some fleeing in terror. Edward's face twisted, his charm shattering like glass, rage spilling where charisma once lived. Olivia shouted, "This is the collapse, Edward, yours, not ours." Security rushed in, but the crowd surged louder, voices breaking into chants of fraud. "Thief!" Edward shouted over them, "You need me. Without me you are nothing." Olivia screamed back, "Without you we are free. Michael pulled Rachel close, steadying her trembling frame. Don't give him another second of your soul. Rachel whispered, I want it back, all of it. Sarah hissed, you're all weak, you deserve his brilliance. Anna raised her camera, snapping relentlessly, and brilliance dies in the light of exposure. The storm outside rattled windows as lightning struck, shadows slicing Edward's face into fractured fragments. For the first time, fear crawled through his smirk. Edward stumbled backward as chants grew deafening. Olivia shouted, the lies end here. Michael's voice boomed, your empire collapses under truth's weight. Rachel cried, you will never own us again. Anna's voice steady, and tomorrow, the world will know. Sarah clung to Edward's arm, hissing, they don't matter, you're still untouchable. Edward's mask shattered completely, sweat pouring, eyes wild with panic. He screamed, I built an empire from nothing. Olivia answered, and now nothing is all you have left. The storm howled louder, glass shattering as chandeliers swayed, and the hall erupted into chaos. The climax was no longer coming, it had arrived. The ballroom lay in ruins, glass shattered, papers scattered like fallen feathers. Edward stood in handcuffs, his head lowered, sweat dripping. Olivia whispered, it's over, the monster is bound. Michael said, justice isn't a cage, it's the truth finally free. Rachel wept into her hands, I lost everything, but at least the lies can't take more. Sarah sneered from the shadows, empires fall, but dreams always find another thief. Anna's voice was steady, and I'll make sure your name rots in tomorrow's headlines. Edward lifted his head, eyes burning. You think cages silence men like me? My echo will outlive you. Olivia's face hardened. Your echo will be the warning that saves others. The storm outside faded, leaving silence heavier than thunder. At the courthouse steps the next morning, crowds gathered with cameras flashing. Olivia faced the reporters, voice breaking. We believed in lies, but now we face truth. Michael stood beside her. Truth comes at a cost, but silence costs more. Rachel trembled, clutching Olivia's arm. I'm scared of tomorrow without him. Olivia whispered back, tomorrow is built without chains. Sarah was led away, handcuffed, hissing. You think you've won, but power never dies. Edward followed, eyes hollow yet smirking faintly. They'll remember my name longer than yours. Anna lifted her microphone, declaring, this story will bury your name in shame. The crowd roared, their anger now justice. Inside the courthouse, Edward sat at the defense table, cuffs gleaming under harsh lights. Olivia whispered to Michael, I thought I'd feel relief, but it's just emptiness. Michael replied, relief doesn't erase scars. Rachel sat quietly, eyes red. He still lives inside me, every word replaying. Sarah smirked across the table, you'll never escape us, not even in victory. Anna tapped her pen, steady, the world will know the truth, and the truth will be your prison. Edward chuckled softly, prisons crumble, memories last forever. Olivia leaned closer, and memories of you will be a warning, not a legacy. The gavel struck, silence cracking like thunder. Later that evening, Olivia stood by her apartment window, city lights reflecting in her tired eyes. Rachel sat on the couch whispering, do we rebuild, or do we just survive? Olivia replied softly, survival is rebuilding, one breath at a time. Michael entered with files, voice firm, his victims deserve restitution, we make sure it happens. Rachel sighed, I want to believe in something again, but I don't know how. Olivia placed a hand on her shoulder, start by believing in yourself, not in men who promise miracles. Anna called on the phone, the first headlines hit tomorrow, his empire's corpse exposed. Olivia whispered, then tomorrow is the first day without his chains. The newsroom buzzed as Anna prepared her article, typing furiously. The empire of Edward Blackwell was built on illusions, she wrote, and tonight it collapses under truth. Olivia's voice echoed in her memory. Lies end when someone refuses to stay silent. Michael's words burned, justice is not revenge, it's the price of truth. Rachel's tears replayed. I gave him my heart, and he sold it for profit. Edward's final grin haunted her recorder. You'll never erase me. Anna whispered to herself, maybe not erase but expose. She pressed publish, the screen glowing with the headline, The Empire of Lies Falls. And with that, Edward's name was chained to ruin forever. The prison gates clanged shut as Edward was led inside, his cuffed wrists gleaming under cold floodlights. Olivia whispered from behind the crowd, This is the sound of freedom. Michael said, Not freedom, justice, fragile but real. Rachel stood trembling, tears shining. He haunted me, but tonight his shadow stays behind these bars. Edward turned his head slightly, smirk crawling back. Bars don't silence voices, they amplify legends. Anna muttered, Legends built on lies die in ink. Sarah, chained beside him, hissed, Empires never end, they just change their masters. Olivia's voice hardened, Then we will keep burning every empire of lies. The storm was gone, but the chill lingered. Inside his cell, Edward sat on the edge of a narrow bed, eyes glowing with strange calm. He whispered, I fed them illusions, and they devoured me with love. Olivia's voice echoed in his memory, The lies end here. Michael's warning lingered, Truth burns. Rachel's sobbed words replayed, I gave you my heart, and you sold it. Edward chuckled softly, Hearts are the easiest currency to spend. He traced cracks on the wall, muttering, Legends bloom in ruins. Outside, Anna prepared her pen, her voice steady, and in print, Legends are bound to truth. Edward smiled into the shadows, and truth is always late. Olivia stood at Rachel's side in a quiet park, autumn leaves falling around them. Rachel whispered, I don't know if I can rebuild. Olivia squeezed her hand, You already are, every breath after him is rebuilding. Michael joined them, voice steady, his empire was ash long before it collapsed, you just couldn't see the fire. Rachel nodded slowly, Maybe ashes can grow something new. Olivia smiled faintly, Only if we plant truth instead of greed. Anna's call rang through Olivia's phone, The world knows now, his story is no longer his. Rachel breathed deeply, Then maybe mine can begin. Anna sat at her newsroom desk, finishing her article with trembling fingers. She whispered, This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Her screen glowed with the headline, From Glitter to Dust, The Rise and Fall of Edward Blackwell. Olivia's words echoed in her head, Lies end when someone refuses to stay silent. Michael's declaration repeated, Justice is fragile, but worth bleeding for. Rachel's broken whisper lingered, I want to believe again. Anna pressed publish, her eyes fierce, then let the world believe in truth, not thieves. The article went live, screens across the city, glowing with Edward's downfall. Midnight silence filled Edward's cell as he leaned close to the bars, whispering into the void, They think they buried me, but echoes never die. His laugh was soft, chilling, drifting like smoke. Olivia dreamed restlessly, hearing it faintly in her sleep. Rachel stirred awake, clutching her chest as if shadows still lingered. Michael sat by his desk, staring at case files, muttering, Evil doesn't vanish, it waits. Anna reread her article, whispering, The world remembers monsters to protect against them. Edward's whisper floated into the dark, and I am unforgettable. The final blow landed not in freedom, but in the certainty that lies always leave scars.